Hello. So here I am to talk about my race, 4,400 race. We were excited. We started, 59th. 50 bad, 58th, anything in the 50s anyway.
Which is the highest that you've ever started, King of the Hammers. So
that's kind of sad, but sure, 58th,
you're
59th.
Getting better. Yeah.
Started with my wife, Kimberly, as a co-driver.
Hey.
She had ran lap one with me, pre-running, and then of course we ran it in her car the day before, so she knew lap one pretty good. She's got a way of remembering the course a lot better than I ever will. Every time I go on the course, it's like a new lap for me. So
the rocks don't move.
But anyway, we ran lap one. I thought we did pretty good. We had a real consistent
I never told you.
pace.
I never told you your high speed, did I? It was like 84 miles an hour, which is good for. I mean, you maintained that for a while. Like you were hitting 84 miles an hour consistently.
We were catching cars. We made a lot of single car passes, and then there was a few that broke down. But I was actually surprised there were not more people broke down, because I feel like in years past,
oh my God,
there was always a graveyard out there, and
yeah, usually the first 2 miles is just terrible.
Yeah, this year there wasn't very many broke cars or rolled cars, which is kind of, I don't know, it's kind of cool to see. I guess we're learning. I think everybody's learning. But yeah, I unfortunately don't have my time for lap one. Do you have any idea? I think it was 2 hours.
It was about 2 hours. I think it might have been just under 2 hours.
Yeah. So, but by the time we got around, we blew through one out and we blew through one coming back. But by the time we got within like 6 miles of Hammertown, I lost brakes, lost the brake hose on the front. My steering pump was starting to give me some troubles. It was, I had to really rev the engine to get it to work well. And I knew, and for whatever reason, starting the race, my fuel pump, my number one fuel pump, wasn't working. There was some issues with that, and previously in the week we had a problem with a filter, so I assumed that we were having a filter issue again. So anyway, coming into Maine, we had a laundry list for our pit crew to do, and then about 2 miles out, I blew a tire. I have no idea how I did that. I don't even remember which one it was. It was a rear though, right? It was a rear passenger, I think.
I think it was rear passenger. Yeah.
So yeah, going into Maine, we were planning on taking a long pit because we're actually doing a co-driver swap. Kim was jumping out, and our friend John Balducci, the godfather of the Miller Pro chassis,
he's even welded on her like before she was born.
So it was pretty cool to have the opportunity to have such a well-known guy in the industry jump in with us and help
and especially
us out.
Because it was a pinch hit for me, because pre-running earlier in the week we learned that my knees
weren't gonna take the rocks.
I have horrible arthritis in my knees and I can't walk downhill. So that's everybody that was wondering like why I got out of the car. It's basically because I can't physically,
because we walked King's Graveyard and
I can't do it. Like I couldn't do it. I kept
and that
falling.
was pretty rough on her.
Yeah, I kept falling down. So we asked John like midweek, we just kind of sprung it on him like, hey, by the way, how do you feel about hopping in an Ultra 4 car and doing the 2 hardest laps of rock racing you'll ever do in your whole life? And he was graceful enough to actually do it for us and find gear, borrow gear, get what he could to get in the car.
Made it work out for sure.
So it was awesome. Lifesaver moment for us.
Yeah, so we're in Main Pit, and I sit there and twiddle my thumbs as all the freaking work I just put in passed me back. All the cars that I just passed were traveling through Maine, and our guys, I mean, nothing against our guys, don't get me wrong, but it was kind of hard to see all these cars go through as we wait, and we get the car back to where it was, changing the brake line. the fuel issue, come to find out, somebody accidentally closed the ball valve, so our pump wasn't working. So that was an easy fix. And then the steering pump, we opted to not do anything about it. It was still working, so we're going to push through. Got the brakes bled, took fuel.
Followed all the safety procedures.
Yeah, that's right. Followed all of the safety procedures. We fueled it last minute after we did everything else. Nobody else was touching the car. We only took like 12, 15 gallons or something, which I was surprised.
Yeah.
For lap one. And then straight out the back door we went. So John just jumped in, and 2 miles later he was jumping out and pull cable for us. We did a pretty clean run on back door. My only regrets is we didn't prep the winch for him as we should have. So he had a little struggle with the winch because it wasn't pulled out and wasn't wrapped on the drum correctly before we got there, so we had to fight that. Got winched up, hit the second ledge clean, and then John jumped back in, up resolution, and out to the rock trails we went. Got to Spooners, made a couple passes in Spooners, which is cool because I had pre-ran it and ran it with Kim. And then got to Outer Limits, and there was a car stuck exactly where Wasabi was stuck the next day. So being there the previous day, there was a line around it where all the other cars in her class had to go around to get around us. I was like, well, shoot, I can take that line. I know that line. I saw 20 cars do it yesterday. And sure as shit, I pull into that line, and I hit it a little too aggressive, a little bit too fast, because again, I was making a pass where Kim was, and I flopped it on the side. So that was my first there's 3 major mistakes I'll talk about, and that was the first one of the day. We flopped it on the side, thinning a tube, probably messed up my fire extinguisher, and then, so I had to get out of the car. John and I worked quickly. There was a car behind us that was coming up, and they were gracious enough to allow us to winch to them. I think it was 4480. Wherever you are, thanks. Appreciate you letting us hook up. We flipped it back over. Car fired right up. Didn't have to pull plugs or anything, and got back moving. So we get to pit 2, look everything over. Well, actually, no, we ran right past pit 2.
Mm-hmm. You guys
ran
never
right
stopped at
past.
pit 2.
We didn't stop, and went on to Chocolate Thunder.
Did good. You guys dropped in fast.
Her problem.
Yeah.
Holy crap, that compressor's been running for 2 weeks.
Neighbors love that.
And then here comes my second mistake of the day. You guys may have heard about the Edwin Abb situation. Well, I was probably I was the root cause of all that. There was a car in the line when I got there, and being once again a little too aggressive, trying to make a pass on that car. Well, I got off course a little bit, got hung up on my front end really bad. And then Edwin comes around and tries to pass me instead of pulling me out of the easy line. He tries to pass me and then flips over. So he's flipped over in front of us. John and I start to work the car out of the situation I was in, and then we ended up passenger side of my car was up against the underside of Edwin's car, and we winched out of that and were able to keep going. Show him the trophy from that situation, hon. So this was what happened after I flopped, or didn't flop, but got all bound up in her problem. So we get through that and get moving again.
Well, that was Jack, right?
What's that? I think this was
This was her problem.
Yeah. Then we made it to Jack and got on through. I think we had one other tire change at the end of lap 2 2 going into 3 or something like that. The hard no, it was lap 3. The hard section of lap 3, the very top of lap 3. We blew another tire and was able to go straight into pits and get that changed. But check out that drive shaft. Holy moly. I should give you guys some light, but. And then, so we lost several hours just from me making dumb mistakes. And then one final dumb mistake at the bottom of King's Graveyard where I took a left, I wasn't even on an obstacle. I took a left line, got hung up on the rear diff really bad. There was nobody around. We pulled rocks down on top of us trying to winch out, yada, yada. Sat there for a while, and then finally another racer came down, and man, I know his name. I can't remember his name. Winched us
It wasn't
backwards.
Yoder. Was it Yoder?
No.
It was the other guy that you said.
It was an IFS car. It wasn't John Webb. It was, I can't remember his name. I know his name. You guys know him. McKinley.
McKinley.
I think. Anyway, he was kind enough to pull us out and finish the race. We got a 28th official finish. You know, I was really, I pushed the car every chance I got, more than I ever had this year. I just made some stupid mistakes. We had a couple, I actually ended up blowing 3 brake hoses. And every time I blow a hose, I can't run 100% with no brakes. So
When you lost a headlight, you finished with one
lost a headlight.
We should have been playing Wildflowers for you.
And, you know, every time I lost a brake hose, I was 30 plus miles from pits. So we just had to run. And running without all the brakes is a challenge.
We're going to visit the brake line.
So,
We will be we're going to be checking the routing on these brake lines because this little guy just kind of snapped. See if I can get it to focus correctly for you here. There you go. So
like somebody said, it could be
oversteering.
Because I did set up and change a little bit of the steering stops and things like that before we went out, and so I did not check that afterwards, and I should have, so maybe that's what it was caused.
Look at these pretty tires, beautiful Yokohamas. Look at this one, still looks real nice. It looks good.
So anyway, 3 brake hoses, a couple really dumb mistakes, but
it's still there.
I think I pushed the car harder than I ever have.
Still made it across the finish line. We made you pop champagne because we've been trying to get a car across the finish line for several years. So,
so back to a finish, not where I wanted. I was really hoping for at least top 20, aggressively top 15. But I'll keep pushing. We'll see how we do in regional races. I'm learning a lot what this car can take, and it can take more than I've been able to throw at it. So. I'm going to keep pushing her.
Yeah. If you need a straight axle, find one of those. They're awesome. Huge thank you to
Warren, Yokohama, race line wheels. Didn't break any wheels.
No, that was awesome. Oh my gosh, yeah. And then
Redline, J Reel. Again, that drive shaft.
Yes.
Can you believe that drive shaft held up?
If you need a drive shaft, please contact Jim, J.E. Reel. They're absolutely amazing.
They actually built us one for our buddy Tom Pendergrass
in 6 hours.
In 6 hours while we were at Lake Bed. So that's the customer support they give. So
yeah, J.E. Reel, we love you. Redline, thank you guys. You probably are the reason my transfer case didn't fall out of my car while I was still driving it. So we love all of you guys. Again, thank you so much for your support and for cheering us on, and for everybody who stuck with us and watched actually at the end of 22 grueling hours of race feed.
Yeah, right.
To watch us finish. Yeah, thank you so much, and hopefully you will get to see us finish more races, and maybe one of these days a podium somewhere, or at least something. So
all right, thanks.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.